gotta watch what we feed in our spirit. We gotta watch what we allowing to come into our mind, into our soul, into our spirit. Just like when we eat the wrong thing and it make our stomach hurt, make our skin break out, have us feeling bad. That's just like our spirit. That's just like our soul. That's just like our mind. If we just listening to somebody gossip all day long, tear down other people, have a whole bunch of doubt, listen to the dream killers every day, that will affect us. If we listening to murder, kill, hate, negative, that will affect us. And now we wondering why we doing bad, feeling bad, in a funk, and don't know why. Because we feeding our spirit the wrong thing. Just like when our stomach hurt and our body feel bad, we know exactly where it came from by eating the wrong thing. And so when our soul is just low and we just feeling bad and we don't know why, man, we fed our spirit the wrong thing. So we have to be conscious of what we feed in our spirit for real. Putting God first. I believe that's the only way to be a good person in the spirit, is putting God first. When we put God first, that is walking in love. And walking in love and putting God first is simply doing what's right, even when we don't feel like doing it. Forgiving, even if you ain't sorry, but it's the right thing to do. Giving to you, even if you ain't gonna give me nothing back, don't appreciate it. I'm doing it out of love because it's the right thing to do. That is walking in love and putting God first. But when we put ourselves first, I'm only going to give to get something. I'm only going to do what I feel like doing it. I'm going to hold on to my past and mess up what we got going on because it's about me and how I feel. And it creates a whole bunch of selfishness when we put ourselves first. We don't do nothing out of love. It's all out of manipulation. So when we put God first, we free ourselves from this satanic world and live more in love and in the spirit. But when we put ourselves first, we are a fleshy person going on feelings. And now we selfish and very manipulative, living and holding on to the past and judging everybody off of the past instead of loving people when we put God first and walking in love. So when a person say, I put myself first, I would never trust them. We got to put God first and walk in love for real. Don't ignore the red flags. People will tell us and show us exactly who they are, and we don't believe them. We think if we show them love, we bring them around them, teach them something different, they would change. But one thing I learned, man, when a person okay with what they doing, they're not gonna change. They don't feel they wrong. And sometimes it's just in the person nature and they okay with it. When a dog bark, why are we mad? Dogs bark. If a snake bites you, snakes bite. That's what they do. But we think we could change them by showing them different. And a lot of times we waste a whole bunch of time and energy in people thinking we could change them. A lot of times we have to accept people for who they are, and if they repeatedly show us and do the same thing, we gotta be mad at ourselves. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So a lot of times we have to accept people for who they are, and if that's not what we want around us, we have to love them from a distance for real. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. And if you don't want to do it, you will find an excuse every single time. You say you had this dream, but you never took a step in faith and got started. You waiting for the right time. I don't have enough time. You waiting for the right amount of money. I don't have enough money. You waiting for the support. You trying to convince everybody to do something. But if it's something else you really want, you will spend every dime on it. You waste time in smoke sessions playing Madden. You waste time on the phone, but you ain't got time to put in your dreams. You waiting for support of people to take a step, but they ain't support you with your boyfriend. They ain't support you with your girlfriend. They told you don't do that and you did it anyway. You ain't need their approval to do that because you really wanted to do it. But you act like you want to do this, but you make every excuse not to get started. You really don't want to do it because you're making every excuse. So if you really want to do something, you will really find a way. And if you don't want to do something, you will find an excuse every single time. For real. One thing I learned, the truth is always simple. When somebody don't want to tell you the truth, they say a whole bunch of complicated stuff just so you would stop thinking and be like, okay. One thing I learned, communication is so powerful. And if you don't communicate exactly what you feel, get to the point, what you really want, only thing a person can do is assume. And when a person assuming, they might think something real that ain't real. They might think something true that ain't true. And now you fall out with a person who meant to be in your life just because you wouldn't communicate and tell this person exactly what you want or how you feel. And so we can't get mad when a person don't assume if we not direct what we want, how we feel, or what we mean. We cannot read minds and other people can't read our minds. So if we want something, we have to communicate it properly and not think people should just know. For real. Don't ignore your gut. That is God speaking to us through the Spirit. A lot of times we know something, we don't know how we know it, but we just know deep down in our spirit. And it will let us know certain moves to make, certain moves not to make, certain people who to deal with, certain people not to deal with. It could be a person come in our life and we just don't even like this person. We don't even know why. But they would charm us, they would give us compliments, they would flatter us, they'll play on our temptations, and then pretty soon they'll do something foul. We'd be like, I knew I ain't like that person. I don't know why, I just didn't like them, I knew it. And then sometimes it'd be a person that we just know that's who we're supposed to deal with. That is God letting us know that is the person I want you to deal with. And so we have to follow our gut, because that is God speaking to us through the Spirit. And a lot of times we know what we know, and we'll let some people talk us right out of what God told us to do, because they could see what you see in the physical, but they can't see what you see, because gut feelings, dreams, visions, and goals, it is all spiritual. And you trying to ask a person in the physical about something that God told you in the spirit. For real. Thing I learned, you have to love some people from a distance. You cannot make sense to somebody who don't want to be made sense to or have no sense. It is not only going to steal your peace, but it will drain all your time and energy. Time and energy that you need to be the best version of yourself, to walk in your God-given purpose and run your race. Sometimes people just want to push your buttons. Sometimes people just want to disagree with you. Sometimes people will try to talk you out of what God put in your heart, and that might be your mama, that might be your daddy, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your friend. But sometimes you have to know when to end a conversation and be like, I have something to do. Some people you can't come around and have to keep the conversation under 3 minutes, because it's gonna go left and steal your peace. Now you resent them and they resent you. So some people you have to love from a distance to keep the relationship good. Some people just in your life to cause chaos and want to actually bring you down. And so when you know that, don't try to correct them or make sense. You just have to love them from a distance. For real. I have read this quote by Dr. King, and it said, faith is taking a step when you can't even see the whole staircase. And a lot of times we say we have a dream or we want something, and we won't even take that step in faith and get started because we don't know how it's going to come true or how it's going to happen, when God just wants us to have faith and taking the step. In the Bible, Peter walked on water with Jesus, even though he sunk after a while. And what separated him from the rest of the disciples is he just got out the boat and took a step in faith. And he did the unbelievable, the impossible. And so a lot of times we thinking, how is this going to happen? And only thing we need to do is take a step in faith and get started. For real. We at the Frederick Douglass Center giving away free groceries. I'm out here in the snow loading up cars. And the reason why it's so important for me to serve the neighborhood, because when Jesus washed his disciples' feet, he let them know, if I am who I am and I got on my hands and knees and washed your feet, how do you supposed to treat our people? And that is in service. And a lot of times we major in a minor, wondering, am I saying good morning versus grand rising, or I'm falling out in church, or I know every scripture, but man, how do we treat our people? And service is one of the most powerful things we can do.